Hello friends and welcome to My Hobby Home. Happy National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. My name is Cathy. I'm so happy you've come along. I know I probably sound out of breath right now. I am. I just had my thread box fall over and I was chasing thread all over my floor. But today, my name is Cathy. Welcome, welcome. If you are new here, I'm so happy to have you. If you're not new and a returning subscriber, watcher, thank you for coming back. Today, I am going to be working on Unchained Jellody. This is a paid-for pattern. I did get it off of Etsy from Flabby, Tabby Designs. If you are interested in getting this pattern, see if I can get it up there where you can see it a little better. It is a sort of a strip Irish chain, almost like the Jelly Roll Irish chain. But what you're seeing, I hope to have this out before the live for you guys, but I don't know if I'm going to finish it. So, if not, I'll throw it in a sew-along. But, I am using my Autumn Day Jelly Roll. You will see here, I have 3 different lengths of strips. Well, I actually have 4. Here's my 4th. You may see in my bin, I have some here. What I did is divided the strips in half. Each size, I divided it in half. Kept half of it in my bin, half of it on my table. And then here's, I think these are like sashing strips. But, so I have that. And then I have an accent fabric, which I am using like a blue grunge. I'm not sure what it's called, but it looks like a grunge. And I'm just going to get started here with my pattern. This is a paid for pattern, so I am unable to give you sizes other than it finishes out at a 56 by 56. This would be a quilt that could easily be enlarged or decreased if you want to. The materials it calls for is a jelly roll, 1 yard accent fabric, 1/4 yard binding, 4 yards backing, twin size batting. What we are going to start doing is just sewing and chit-chatting. And guys, I hope you're having a great Saturday. Of course, this is pre-recorded and it's not Saturday for me. It's Friday for me. I'm just doing it the day before because I wanted to have a jelly roll quilt out there for you guys on National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. And because the live will not, it will not be on my page, I will be able to include a link for you guys though. The first thing I'm going to do is take my smallest strip and sew an accent piece to each end of it. Now, I chose this blue color. I don't remember what it's called. I think it was called Cobalt. Because in my strips, there is a little bit of blue, but there's not a piece of fabric that is blue. So I thought that would be perfect to pull out those beautiful blues in here because I love the blues. I love blue at fall time. I don't know why, but I think it is so pretty. And I want to let y'all know, some people had told me to let them know how my foot pedal thing was doing. Well, y'all, I kick it all over the place down here. I don't know. It's almost like the mat is too long. And I have a knee bar over here where I can catch it with my knee. And I just seem to be messing it up all over. I mean, I kick it all over the place. So it's not that it's scooting while I'm using my pedal pad. It's just when I go to move my foot, I'm grabbing it with my foot and it's moving all over the place under there because I'm kicking it. If I could quit kicking it it would probably do a whole lot better. But I move my machine around a lot because this is my cutting table, my sewing table. This is everything. I move my machine over here to this side when I cut, and I move my cutting mat all the way to this end over here. So yeah, it's I hope I didn't do that backwards. No, I did not. Okay. So it really is working fine. It's just I'm the one that keeps moving it with my foot. And I am just going to keep on. This set of strips that I have pulled out, they are all going to have the accent fabric attached to each end of it. Y'all, and this is a jelly roll quilt that I've been holding this pattern because I knew as soon as I saw it. I started looking for jelly roll patterns a couple months ago, and I had a lot of suggestions, and I did not realize there were so many jelly roll patterns out there. I do have a jelly roll book. I think it's called 2 for 1, and I actually think I have a jelly roll book. But isn't it fabulous to have a day for, you know, sewing a jelly roll? We all have that joy of having a day specifically set aside to sew, don't we? I know I love it when I see something about a sewing or quilting day. I'm all up for it. Got me a good excuse to sew, which I sew every day just about. Just because I love it. I love to sew. I love to be creative. But I think I got that from my aunt and my grandma, my daddy's family, my daddy's mama and sister. I am getting this one done, and so far so good. We're doing 18 strips with a accent fabric on each ends at 1/4 of an inch, and it's just going, isn't it? And these are some beautiful fabrics. I know I showed these fabrics probably in an update, and I was asked where I could get them, where you could get them. I believe this was an old line, and I either got it from Annie's, or I know I saw some Fat Quarter Shop had some of the 40 karat crystals. And I actually think I saw one that was close to this line, but not this exact line. But I've already thrown away the paper. But this one is called Autumn Day. I think it's by, is it Wilmington Fabrics? If you just search that, you may find another line that's close to it. But I don't have any fall or autumn quilts, so I thought this would be perfect, you know, a perfect quilt here for me to have for the fall. I do plan on making 2 more quilts that are fall inspired. So what are you guys working on today? Are you doing a jelly roll quilt? Have you done a jelly roll quilt? I did see in one of my Facebook groups, Mitty Girl Creates, her Facebook group, that she has a jelly roll quilt top that she has completed. It's beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. I haven't seen too much stuff that Shannon has done that's not beautiful, so, but I haven't seen too much stuff that most people's done that's not beautiful. But, you know, some things are not some people's taste, and I've seen a lot of things that aren't my taste, but that doesn't mean they're not beautiful. Because today I went to one of my local quilt shops, because when I was in there at the beginning of the month, I saw a pattern in there, and I have not been able to get this pattern out of my mind. It's a clothing pattern, and I just had to go get it today. So I went and got it today, and I was telling the lady there, Okay, I'm going to my next size strip, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to sew the one side, because I believe I do this on all of the different layers. Yeah, I do it to 3 of them. I put the accent fabric on all 3 layers on both ends of the fabric. So I'm just going to keep doing this and keep chatting with you. But anyway, I was speaking with the lady there, and I'm like, well, you know, I wanted to get some fabric maybe to test this pattern out. Now, this pattern is shown in not necessarily a chiffon, but something real thin and flowy like chiffon. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. It does have a pattern for the shirt, and then a short dress, and then a long dress. And I want a shirt, but I want the shirt to be made like the dress. And for the shirt bodice is not made like the bodice for the dress. So what I'm going to do is take the short dress and make it into a shirt pattern. Just shorten it a little bit more because I like the shape of it. So y'all will actually probably see me make this shirt. I have not made garments in a while, but I did make garments before I quilted. Several years before, well, I did make my grandbaby, my granddaughter, I did make her a little dress with bloomers, but I haven't really made like adult clothing garments in a really long time. So I'm just hoping I can remember everything. If I can't, Aunt Betty, I'll be calling you. So she is my go-to if I can't remember something about sewing, because she can sew anything. You know I'm lucky. I'm very blessed to have had a grandmother that sewed, knitted, crocheted, did all kinds of crafts, and loved sharing it with us. I'm hoping my grandbabies enjoy doing crafts. When they get old enough, we'll do, hopefully, I can start the tradition with my grandbabies where we do a craft at Christmas time. I'm hoping we can do that. I would just love to be able to have my grandbabies the week before Christmas. You know, that way so the parents can get Santa Claus ready. Because I think for us when we were little, we stayed with my aunt. We stayed with my aunt and my grandmother. Well, my aunt and uncle and my grandmother. My grandmother lived right next to my aunt and uncle. And if my aunt had to work, we'd stay with my grandma. I can remember Mama always was she always liked to do like little Christmas ornament things, you know, and my aunt did too. We always made these little paper chains. You know, it's funny how you remember the things, because I have not thought about that in years. And that kind of I've lost that part of our tradition when we did that, but I want to do things like that with my grandbabies. So I'll be buying construction paper and all around Christmas time. Not this year. They will both be a year old at Christmas. I already have one that's a year old. But my other one, he'll be a year old by the time Christmas gets here. And his birthday is right before Christmas, and his mama's birthday is right after Christmas. And my little brother's birthday is the day before my grandson's. So we have a lot of birthdays right there around Christmas. And my granddaughter, she will be, let's see, she's a year old. She'll be 16 months old just a few days after Christmas. Actually, the day before my daughter's birthday, she'll be 16 months old. It's hard to believe how fast they grow up. I miss my little sugar boogers all the time. I'm trying to get my schedule where I have most of my weekends available, at least one weekend a month available. It hadn't worked out yet, but because I can't seem to get my schedule, can't seem to stick to a schedule right now. That's like today I have a call at 4 p.m. My husband and I have this call. We have it, well, it's like a Zoom meeting. And he messaged our facilitator of the meeting, and it's like, you know, he's on a shutdown right now, so he's not in. And so I just asked the facilitator, I'm like, can he do it from his phone, you know, while driving? Because it's normally only about a 15-minute call. If it's only 15 minutes, we can make this call today. But if it's not, if it's more than 15 minutes and he can't do it while he's driving, then I don't know why he can't pull over to the side of the road. But y'all, I am already on my last set of strips here. Just putting the accent fabric on one end. Once I finish, I will start putting the accent fabric on the other end. I may not even trim these apart until I go to press them. Now, I am to press them to the accent fabric. I'm hoping this blue works really well. This is just a color I saw in the fabric, and I'm like, well, I don't see a background color of that anywhere. Now, like, I do have a fabric right here that is light colored, that's got a lot of blue in it, but I just think it's going to make it pop. I think it's going to be beautiful. I didn't want to do a light color because I did have light colors in these strips, and I just did not want them to run together. But here, I've already gone around the world. I've talked about garment sewing, Christmas traditions, things I want to make for Christmas traditions. I'm good about that. I can go around the world in a second. I always tell my sister that's called my 9 degrees of separation. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I'm one of these that if you can mention something and I have 5 different things pop in my head, because it's like a chain of events. That one thing makes me think of something else, and then I think of something else, then I think of something else. And that's just how my brain works. I've heard that's called something, but I just think it's an overactive mind. A mind that needs to learn how to rest. And I'm hoping next weekend I will be resting and enjoying my weekend. My sister and I are hopefully going out of town if everything goes well. We have a bridal shower this week. Today, National Sew a Jelly Roll Day, so we're going to be sewing jelly rolls. Tomorrow is the 22nd. And actually, the day that I'm sewing this is the 20th. And guys, y'all, it's not that I just realized this. I knew this when I woke up. Because I even thought about it last night. But with my husband off, I didn't really think about it. We didn't plan anything. But today is mine and my husband's 16-year wedding anniversary. He's off working, so by the time you hit it this many years, you know, you get this many years in, it's just another day, kind of. I'm not one of those sappy people, but I love my husband. He's a good husband. He's a good provider. He may drive me nuts and insane probably about 80% of the time, but I still love him the same. He came into the picture in a hard time. I had 3 young babies. My youngest, my son, was actually 3 years old. I think he had just turned 3 when my husband and I met. And we married 3 years after we met. My children's dad and I, you know, it's just one of those things. We tried to make it work. It didn't work. Sometimes that happens. People grow apart and it became volatile. So we had to go our separate ways. It became very volatile. And so my son, pretty much his whole life that he can remember, my husband has been the male figure in the home. I'm not going to say that his daddy wasn't a male figure because his daddy was present. Okay, so I've got the first set of accent fabrics put on here, and I'm debating, should I just pull it around? And I think that's what I'm going to do. It just may be easier instead of trying to corral all the pieces loose, just leave them attached and just get them under here and get them going. And it'll be pretty easy to know which one is next. So that's all we're doing, is putting the accent fabric on both ends of these. Once I get the accent fabric on each end, what I will do is press them to the accent fabric. The pattern specifically states press to the accent fabric. So that is what I'm going to do. Yeah, these are some beautiful colors. I love these fall colors. Now, I love Christmas colors, but fall, you know, that's your precursor to Christmas. That's like it's almost here. Almost here. I'm so ready for it. And I know I have my strips. I have 2 of the same strip, and I'm thinking I can put them on different blocks, so, you know, it won't look like all I have are these colors, you know, but I could put them on different blocks. I'll have to make sure to separate them when I'm cutting them, put them in 2 stacks. But yeah, we're in about 35 minutes in, I think, here. And I am on to, I've already completed putting the accent fabric on one end of all my strips. These almost look like log cabins, almost. But it does look like an Irish chain. The completed quilt does. So it looks like I'm kind of doing 2 Irish chain. I think I did see a description that did call it a strip Irish chain. And the other one I'm doing is a jelly roll Irish chain. So, and they're both made out of jelly rolls. So y'all may see 2 jelly roll videos from me today. According to how far I get with my Irish chain, I may do a pre-record. And I don't think I'll finish it while on the live. But if I finish it after the live, I'll go in and get that edited and video out for you guys. I don't know. It may not be today. It may be a later day in the week. Maybe we can use that as a sew-along. Just trying to position these on here so they're straight, because we definitely do not want these to get off straight. But the pattern does look like a log cabin, and I think that's what drew me to it, because I've never made a log cabin that is a pattern that I do want to make. Oh, I didn't finish telling y'all what I was telling y'all about going to my local, one of my local quilt shops. I'll tell y'all about that in a second. But a log cabin is one of the patterns that I do want to do. I want to do like a potato chip quilt. I've seen a lot of people do those, so I thought that would be interesting. I've never made a potato chip quilt. I've never made Dresden plates. I do want to do some Dresden plates. I think I have a template for a Dresden plate, but I'm not sure. I will figure it out when I get there. I do want to do curves. I want to learn how to do curves. I have a whole list of want tos and just not a whole lot of time for getting it done. But guys, I'm going to keep putting these together, and I'll bring you back when I start piecing them. Okay, guys, I thought I would bring you back and kind of give you a time, not lapse, but give you a time frame on how long it took me to sew the accent fabric on both ends. We are now at 57 minutes. So that's what we're looking at, is 57 minutes for the timeline on putting the accent fabric on both ends of each of my strips. Now, this is 18 strips of each length. So I have 3 separate lengths that have 18 strips, and I have 18 strips more of each of these lengths. So I had 36 of each length. So what I'm doing right now is just trimming them apart and stacking them so I can press them out. I've got to get this back on top of my machine here so I can trim them, and I will bring you guys right back after I press and we start piecing it, and I'll kind of give you the timelines or the times that it's taken me to do each of these because, you know, a lot of people like to know how long it takes. So we're looking at just under an hour to sew the accent fabrics on each of my strips. So I'm trying to, when I cut them apart, I'm trying to keep them in like sizes in a stack, because as I said, I've got 3 different stacks, and they will need to be, you know, the smaller stack makes the center of the block, and then you work your way outwards with the larger strips. So we want to make sure to keep them separated, because I don't really know how the instructions go. I did not test this block out at all. No testing whatsoever. I have not read the instructions past this part. So I'm going at this one raw again. You know, I'm just going at it at whatever it is right now, and I have no idea where I just ended cutting. So I'll bring y'all right back as soon as after I'm done pressing. Guys, my camera died on me, but I haven't gotten very far. I plugged it in as soon as I realized it was dying. And the only thing I've done, I have these accent squares, and I'm putting one of the small strips on opposite sides of one another. So that's what I'm doing right now. My camera died at about an hour and 7 minutes, and I was pressing, so that's okay. That would have been stuff that I took out anyways. So no harm, no foul. The only thing you missed was me putting that first the smallest strip set that I made, putting it on one side of my accent fabric. But you'll see me put the other side on the accent fabric. So what I'm doing is just taking these. This is my small strip, and I'm just matching the edges there and sewing it at that 1/4 of an inch. I'm hoping I have. Oh, I come down to having a. Well, that one will go with that one, and this one will go with this one. I didn't want 2 light colored strips together, but it is what it is. But this has been a, you know, I'm only into like the second step of it. You know, I had everything cut. I used my Stripology ruler, so my cutting was a breeze. It cut my cutting time down drastically. It seriously probably only took me about 30 minutes to cut my fabric. So I'm done with this step. It says to press the seams open. Y'all know I'm not a fan of pressing seams open unless it's a garment. I don't like to press seams open. But I will be right back after I press these. Now I have my first step completed here. Okay, here we are finishing up. I only have, looks like 3 more blocks to go, and I will be done putting these on. And yeah, we are only in to sewing this about 3 hours now, and that does include the time that my battery died. You know, that thing happens. Sometimes if you're going to record that long, you may need to make sure you got to back up and be aware that it's heading on down. But once I get these done, I will press them out, and I will have to read the next step because I'm not exactly sure if I make my sashing strip or if I sash my blocks. I'm not quite sure which one I would do yet. But that is a-okay. All I have to do is get these put on. Well, no. Once I get these on, I have to press, and then I'll put the accent strip on the opposite side. So I still have that to do. I thought I was almost finished, but I'm not. I'm just putting the strip, the plain strip, on the block. But this is the last set that I will have to do. Okay, and this is my last square that I'm making. Now, I am loving how these colors are coming together. And it is very random. I'm just trying to not get the same ones side by side. And I think so far I've been able to do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is press this out, and I'll be right back with y'all once I've got it pressed and I start putting my accent strip on. Well, y'all, it looks like this is going to be continued. Right now, I have pressed out most of my blocks. It's almost midnight, and it's time for me to shut it down. So, guys, I will see you later with the second part of pressing this. This part you will see hopefully at 8 a.m. The second part should be later in the day. So guys, you'll get to see the whole thing completed. But just stay tuned. I will bring you back to see the rest of it being made. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will be bringing you back to complete this on National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. And I may actually finish this with online with Donnell, and y'all see that coming up at 9 a.m. So guys, thank you so much. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. Do come back and watch the second part to see how this turns out. So, as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Goodbye.